Teaching elementary students with the Socratic Method. While the traditional Socratic method can be very complex at times, it can be modified to suit the developmental stages of young children. Here are some ways to tailor the approach. First, start with some simple but concrete questions. For example, if you're discussing a story about a character who helps a friend, you might begin with a question like, why do you think the character decided to help their friend? Then you can start with questions that are easy for children to relate to and to understand. Focus on concrete concepts that they can grasp, like emotions, actions, and everyday situations. Use some visuals and storytelling. Show a picture of a community helping after a storm, and you could ask, what do you see happening in this picture? Why do you think people are helping each other? Visuals and storytelling are powerful tools for young learners. Use images, videos, and stories as prompts for Socratic questioning. You can also encourage multiple perspectives. For example, after you've read a fable or a story, you can say, what do you think the fox was thinking when he couldn't reach the grapes? Or how might the story be different if the grapes had been lower? Be sure to encourage your children to consider different perspectives and possibilities. Ask them questions that prompt them to put themselves in someone else's shoes or to imagine alternative outcomes. Guide without giving away the answers. For example, if students are working on a math problem, you could think, what do you think would happen if we add these two numbers together? Why would you think it would happen like that? But resist the urge to provide answers or to lead your students to a specific conclusion. Instead, ask them guiding questions to help them explore their reasoning. Promote active listening and discussion. For example, during a class discussion, you might ask, do you agree with your friend, what they said? Why or why not? You can also create an environment where students listen to each other's ideas and respond thoughtfully. Encourage them to discuss their reasoning, challenge their ideas respectfully, and build on each other's contributions. Encourage reflection and some self-assessment. I know that may be difficult in young people, but you can do it. So maybe after a science experiment, you could ask, why do you think that that worked so well? And what could we do differently next time? Using questioning to help students reflect on their learning experience is really going to help them. It'll encourage them to think about what they've learned, how they arrived at their conclusions, and what they might do differently in the future. Always be sure to keep the teaching atmosphere positive and supportive. If a child is struggling with a question, you might want to ask, what other ideas do you have? Let's think about it together. Ensure that your questioning and that your classroom environment is always positive. Encourage all students to participate and reassure them that it's okay to make mistakes. Your goal is to create a safe space where children feel comfortable exploring ideas and taking intellectual risks. Using the Socratic method in elementary education helps students to think more critically and to ask better questions. By encouraging curiosity and different points of view, teachers can make learning more fun and engaging. This method helps children to become more involved in their own learning and builds important thinking skills. In the end, the Socratic method helps students to grow into confident and independent thinkers.